We are back!
Welcome back to our channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And if you're watching this on upload night, happy Thursday. So, it's finally October, arguably one of the best months of the year, if not the best month of the year. And today we thought we would talk to you about the Ouija board.
This is actually a topic that is very hotly debated in our household at the minute. I want one, she doesn't, but we're getting somewhere with it, aren't we, Lainey?
No.
Yes, we are.
No.
Yes, we are. We will get somewhere with it.
Anyway, swiftly moving on.
Be sure to get yourself a brew.
Turn off the lights.
And let's get talking about some Ouija boards. Before we can even talk to you about the origins and everything else that comes with an Ouija board, we need to tell you what an Ouija board is. You're probably very well aware, but just in case you're not, here you go. So
we consulted the oracle of Wikipedia because clearly everything's true if it's come from Wikipedia. And they just did a perfect description of it, so here it is.
I passed college through Wikipedia, so anything's possible.
So it says, the Ouija, also known as a spirit board or talking board, is a flat board marked with the letters of the alphabet, the numbers 0 to 9, the words yes, no, occasionally hello and goodbye, along with various symbols and graphics. It uses a planchette, a small heart-shaped piece of wood or plastic, as a movable indicator to spell out messages during a seance. Participants place their fingers on the planchette and it is moved about the board to spell out words. A Ouija is a trademark of Hasbro, but is often used generically to refer to any talking board. So, spiritualists believe that the dead were able to contact the living and reportedly used a talking board to ostensibly enable faster communication with spirits. Initially, the Ouija board was regarded as an innocent parlour game unrelated to the occult until spiritualist Pearl Curran popularised it. So basically it's a spirit board for talking to the dead.
And what she said there was it's a spirit board for talking to the dead. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Google Translate. One thing to know is that some Christian denominations have warned against using an Ouija board, claiming that they can lead to demonic possession. Occultists, on the other hand, are divided on the issue, with some claiming that it can be a tool for positive transformation.
And we can very much vouch for this. Like, whenever I've brought up the topic of an Ouija board, everyone's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, girl. Don't do it, girl.
I ain't gonna do it, let's just think about it.
Until we turn around one day and go, I did it. And then I'll have you all screaming at me.
The history of the Ouija board.
This is the bit you've all come to hear about. In the early to mid 1800s, spiritualism became very popular within Europe. During the 1850s, it became very popular within America as well.
With death rates being high and death being a constant, the average life expectancy during these times was around about the age of 45, which is crazy because I've literally only got like 10 years left. You're all right, young'un.
Yeah, but I'm halfway through my life.
How do you think I feel?
I'm ready for another 2 decades, and then that's pop me clogs.
Pop me clogs.
I'm down for another 100 years. We're gonna live it up. In response to this, people sought out answers, and spiritualism became huge.
So during these times, newspapers such as Banner of Light were created for spiritualists and those seeking comfort and answers. These papers even had columns with messages that claimed to be from beyond the grave.
Ooh! I mean, how did they get their answers if it was before Ouija boards? How did they get their answers?
Mediums?
Fair enough.
I don't know. Do you guys know?
Yeah, let us know if you know. Good point. I think it's a good point well presented by me. Proud of myself for that one. There were many inventions that were created in an attempt to contact the spiritual realm.
Elijah Bond and Charles Kennard created the direct ancestor of what we now know today as the Ouija board.
The name Ouija has 3 origin stories. The first is that it's named after the novelist Ouida, that's spelled O-U-I-D-A. Another story is that the Ouija board was claimed to spell its own name.
And some claim that it was named Ouija after the Egyptian word meaning good luck. This was also how, in its first patent, it was explained and marketed.
Enter William Fold. He patented his own version of the spirit board in July of 1892. But Ouija was a much bigger brand and better established, so Fold and Company bought it. Fold's estate would hang on to business until 1966, when it was sold to Parker Brothers, which would then sell the Ouija board product line and all of its affiliates' rights to Hasbro in 1991. Currently, all participants and trademarks related to the Ouija board belong to Hasbro, though around 10 different brands sell talking boards today under a variety of different names. Do you know what's even more mental than Hasbro actually owning the rights to Ouija boards?
The fact that we're not going to have one?
No, the fact that they're aged 8 and up.
Are they?
They're aged 8 and up. You could be 8 years old and go and buy an Ouija board.
What?
Ah! That means I'm old enough to go and buy an Ouija board.
Mum, I made it.
That means I can go buy one right now for the house.
That's so funny. No. So now we thought we'd share some scary Ouija board stories that we pulled up from the internet, which are really freaking weird and pretty damn cool.
So the first one is just titled Ghostly Author. Patience Worth was one of the most acclaimed writers of the earliest 20th century, despite having died more than 200 years earlier. She made it.
I hope she came back through on an Ouija board.
Made it. So do I. The author is supposedly communicated with St. Louis' housewife Pearl Lenore Curran through her Ouija board. Patience was supposedly a British woman who emigrated to New England in the late 1600s but was killed by an Indian. The New York Times called her first novel a feat of literary composition. Some believe Pearl simply made Patience up in order to draw more attention to her work, but others claim that Pearl had limited education and life experience, which would have made this impossible.
Interesting.
Isn't it?
So Patience Worth used Pearl Lenore Curran to author a book.
Yes.
Is that right?
Essentially.
So Patience Worth came through an Ouija board,
wrote a book, and then became massive. 200 years after her death.
That's incredible.
I hope that I actually have a game changer when I'm like dead for 200 years.
Family murder. In 1933, 15-year-old Maddie Turley from San Diego shot her own dad twice in the back and then claimed the board had told her to do it. Apparently, the board said she should commit the crime so her mum, Dorothea Turley, who was holding the planchette at the time, could marry a young cowboy.
Yeehaw!
Turley's mum insisted she followed the instructions and both women were arrested. Turley's dad died in hospital a couple of weeks after the shooting.
I mean, that's tragic. That is really tragic, but like, that's happened.
But then that just begs the question, did that really happen? Like, imagine using a spirit board and the next thing you know, you've murdered your father.
Possessed by demons. In July 1976, career criminal Gary Gilmore shot 2 men to death in Utah. He was arrested and became famous when he demanded to be executed for his crimes. His younger brother, Mikhail Gilmore, later wrote a book about their childhood. In Shot in the Heart, which is the title of the book, he alleged their mum, Bessie, had contacted demonic spirits through an Ouija board as a child and was convinced it attached itself to her family. An accident in which one of Bessie's sisters was killed and another paralysed was also attributed to the demon.
That's horrific.
So the son shot 2 men to death, and said that and the brother wrote a book about the mum, who is clearly like got a couple of things going on. And the mum has killed her own sister and paralysed the other.
Crazy.
Like, who does that? Who does that?
Grandma attack. That sounds mean already, I'm sorry.
Doesn't it? Grand Theft Pensioner.
In February 2011, grandmother Carol Sue Elviker, then 53, was using an Ouija board with her daughter Tammy and Tammy's 2 daughters.
Wait, hang on. The whole family was in on this Ouija board sesh.
Yeah.
Can we get our whole family in on the Ouija board sesh?
Yeah, me, you and Boo.
Yeah. Oh, imagine Boo on the planchette.
Right. She's said to have received a message from God through the board in which he said her son-in-law Brian Roach was evil and needed to be killed. Elvica grabbed a knife and stabbed Brian in his sleep and then tried to kill Tammy's 10-year-old daughter. Tammy sprang into action, wrestled the knife from her mum and hid it in the house. Elvica then drove the group away from the house, but tried to kill them by running into a road sign. Why did they get in the car with her?
Yeah.
She's just stabbed a husband, tried to
stab
kill the kids. Why would you all then get in the car?
That's mistake like number 1 billion.
I mean, mistake number 1 was definitely the doing the Ouija board, but we move.
Not at all.
She was later arrested, ruled insane and committed to a psychiatric hospital.
Best place for her.
What troubles people is that Elvica had no previous history of mental illness, drug or alcohol abuse.
Well, that's like...
She went wibble.
More or less. But it's very interesting that it will come
Whilst using the
prior
board.
to using the board. Like, I guess a few cogs turn in.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how you turn out after using the board.
Shut up, Ben.
Serial killer calling. In December of 2007, Joshua Tucker, 16, and Donald Shalklin, 15, asked an Ouija board if they should become serial killers. Hang on. Questions should be asked of these kids. Why they want to, why are they consulting a board whether they should become serial killers? Like, that is the first sign of a serial killer, surely. That's like me coming up to you and going, should I be a serial killer? And you'd be like, yeah, why not?
Well, does it work like that? Does that make you a serial killer if you ask?
Well, if you've already got a thought in your mind, you're just looking for the confirmation, aren't you?
Guys, should I become a millionaire?
The board supposedly said yes, and Tucker went on to kill Shalklin's 13-year-old sister by stabbing her in the throat.
What the hell?
When Shalklin's mum, Laurie, went looking for her daughter, Tucker attacked her as well and instructed Shalklin to finish the job. Laurie died on her way to hospital. Her son was sentenced to 9.5 years in prison, while Tucker got 41-year sentence.
Good. Good.
Mistakes were clearly made on
the initial use of the Ouija board?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
But 4 creepy stories. Really, really strange, very odd. I'm sure if you search those names, you'll get more come up online. But for that reason, we thought we would just give you guys a little heads up on the rules of the Ouija board.
Basically the rules that we will be following when we go ahead with our Ouija board.
No.
The rules that we will be following come as follows. Number 1, never play alone. It's said that this can make you a bit more of an easier target if you are just riding solo on this. So for that reason, buddy up. I've got my buddy here for when we do our Ouija sesh.
I'm going to throttle you and blame it on the Ouija board. Number 2, do not play the Ouija board if you are struggling with depression or mental health problems. Again, it's said to make you an easier target.
Number 3, if you let anything into your home, I mean, I'm not sure how you would know if you've let anything into your home until it's happened, but pretty self-explanatory, get your house blessed. Which we're quite tempted to do.
I mean, you could also kind of like sage your house afterwards and stuff like that, couldn't you? Cleanse it afterwards, I guess.
To take precautionaries, you've got to just do it straight after. So we'll order some sage when I order the Ouija board.
Number 4, do not treat the Ouija board as a game, because it's not a game and the spirits apparently do not like that.
I guess it can come across as a bit patronising, like you're trying to communicate with these peeps and they're like, what do you think this is, a game? Number 5, never let the spirits count down through the numbers.
Why? I ask thee.
This is said to be quite a bad omen. So if they start to do this, you kind of stumbled across a bit of a demon, and that can only spell bad things. Bad things. I've seen far too many horror movies with the Ouija boards in it to know you're asking for trouble.
Number 6, it's said that if the planchette moves to all 4 corners of the board, you have in fact let a spirit through, an evil spirit through, into this dimension.
That is bad news. How do you even respond to that? Would you be like, oh, I swear it was just in that corner, and then you'd be like, oh, that's bad. I would literally like yeet myself.
What, if it went to the all 4 corners?
Yeah, I'd literally just pick myself up and go, yeet.
Stop the world. I want to get off.
Number 7. Do not let the board spell out Z-O or Zo. I think it was Zozo. 24
He said it!
times. What's the matter with saying it? If you let it say it like 24 times, it's said to be another demon that you could potentially let into this dimension.
You're releasing the beast.
And it's just, again, bad news.
Bad juju.
Don't do it.
Number 8. Do not let the planchette move in a figure of 8 motion, because once again, you will be letting in a demon.
There's a bit of a recurring theme.
Yes.
Demons and let them in. Let me in.
Oh yeah.
Call back to our other video, we'll link it. Number 9. You must close the portal every time you play. If you don't, it's like an open door. It's like, come into my house. Anything that is on the other side of this board, and then that could be good, that could be bad, that could be downright awful. And then you're just like, oh my god.
And you're fucked.
Then before you know it, you're literally in The Conjuring.
Yeah. Number 10. The Ouija board is said to be addictive. If you have an addictive personality, stay away from it. Also, limit your use before you become addicted.
Number 11. Never trust a spirit. Why? Because they can't be trusted.
Because evil spirits are said to be able to
Manipulate.
and mimic good spirits, lure you into a false sense of security.
And then BAM!
BAM!
And then they got you. Bad news. Bad juju.
Number 12. Never ever burn an Ouija board. If you burn an Ouija board, it's said to let out a blood-curdling scream. And if you hear it, you're said to have 36 hours left to live on this earth.
I mean, that one I'm not too sure about, but I mean, we'll not burn our Ouija board.
We haven't got an Ouija board, so we don't need to
When
worry.
we get one. Number 13. If you do want to destroy your Ouija board, there is a specific way you must do it. If you don't do it, you've got 36 hours left to live. And that way of doing it is to break it into 7 pieces. That's very specific, you must do that. And then you must coat it in holy water, literally drown it in it. And then bury it. And then just walk away like it never happened. Standard.
Doing that. Finally, number 14. Always light a white candle. Always light a white candle for protection.
This is said to be quite an enlightening thing, and it's like a good way of kind of deterring any negativity and bad spirits. So get them white candles, get their little tea lights out.
So guys, we hope that you've learned a little bit more about the Ouija board, its origins, and enjoyed the really creepy, weird stories that we've just read out to you.
There has been so many, like, the Ouija board is a massive part of pop culture. Like, it's been in movies, like, it's literally got its own dedicated movie. Like, if you watch any paranormal TV show, like Most Haunted or whatever, they use them all the time over there for seances. And if you keep an eye on this channel, we'll be using one. Won't we, Lainey? That's a yes.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for joining us once again, and we really hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, leave us a comment. We'd love to respond to you all. And
be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. We're uploading every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 8 PM. Do not ever miss an upload, and to make sure you don't, make sure to hit the bell notifications as well.
We can't wait to see you again soon. And all that's left to say now is thank you so much for watching. You mean so much to us. Peace.
What does Zozo mean?
Zozo's a demon.
Fuck.